You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Sweet. I've always wanted to offer Monarch Viva Revolution.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Proceed into the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Enter the basement.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Hey, I think I'm here to slay you.
You must have the wrong address.
Great job, you've given away the element of surprise. Good luck, hero. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. You were joking about coming to kill me, right? Do you think you could get me out of these chains?
Hold on, let's talk a bit first.
Okay.
Go back upstairs to retrieve the blade without saying another word.
Thank you. You turn back to the stairs, intent on retrieving the blade in the cabin.
Where are you going? You can't just leave me here. You'd better hope for your own sake that I don't slip these chains before you make it back down here.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. But do you hear the conviction in her voice? I don't think she's bluffing. She has to be bluffing, but I'd hurry if I were you. You rush up to the first floor, grabbing the blade, both yours and the world's only possible salvation. Okay, if we're sure about this decision, I'll support it. I suppose we have a world to save after all. You slowly creep down the basement stairs. It's quiet. Where the princess sat only a moment ago, there's only a severed arm, its cooling flesh still chained to the wall. And she is nowhere to be seen. Is it just me? Or did this room get a lot bigger?
Hello?
Why don't you come closer? I have something to show you.
Let's finish this.
Your eyes dart to the corners of the room. You don't see her. Where is she?
Close the door behind you.
You close the door behind you. Almost magically, its locks immediately click into place. Maybe they'll open if you finish the job.
I'll wait.
Do you want to play a waiting game? I've been down here a long, long time. I'm very good at waiting.
You do your best to patiently wait her out. But eventually, exhaustion starts to set in. Come on, wake up. We can't fall asleep down here.
Venture into the shadows.
You step into the shadows. Too late, you hear the quiet patter of feet against the basement floor, followed by the taut pull and sharp pain of tearing flesh as the princess lunges into you from behind and drags you to the floor. Her ferocity overwhelms you, and as the princess rends flesh from bone, your limp fingers lose their grip on the blade. It slips from your hand, your one last means of defense, lying useless beside you in a pool of your cooling blood. I suppose you just lacked the will to fight back. This is the end, isn't it? I'm afraid it is. You shouldn't have let that fear creep into your heart. You had the upper hand, and now look at you. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Proceed to the cabin.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. Does a cat lie to a cornered mouse when it plays with its freedom? Or is it just acting out its nature? I don't see why that matters. A lie's a lie, and if anything, she's the one who's cornered. She could have gotten out of there whenever she wanted to. We should trust nothing that she tells us, only what we hear and smell. That's a very roundabout way of saying that you should listen to me and take this seriously. Maybe.
Proceed into the cabin.
The interior of the cabin is ruinous and dilapidated. It feels like no one has lived here for a long time, wind rushing in through cracks and holes in the wooden walls. The only furniture of note is a termite-eaten table with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Take the blade.
You take the blade from the table. It will be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
Enter the basement.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what's left of an old wooden staircase. It's still sturdy enough that you can make your way down in one piece, though you'll have to be mindful of holes. The air seeping up from below is oddly warm and wet, as if you're descending into a jungle. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. She growls up the stairs.
I can smell you.
She sounds almost feral, impatient, or maybe eager. You carefully make your way down the stairs. The last step gives way to the damp earth floor of a starlit pit. The walls are obscured by an impenetrable darkness, giving the illusion that the room might stretch on forever. You brush against the wide leaves of plants that surround you on all sides, seemingly the only living things that occupy this strange underground wilderness. The jungle is pressing in on us, hiding her from view. She could be anywhere. You see only a flash of the princess before she scurries away into the underbrush, dragging her heavy chain behind her. Remember, she's just a princess. She is certainly not just a princess. You're not helping. It doesn't matter what she is. It only matters what she does. Her shining eyes appear between the leaves, staring hungrily at you from the darkness.
I can hear your heart pounding from the bottom of the stairs, fledgling. You're right to be terrified. I'm so much more than you. And a little splinter clutched in trembling hands won't save you from me.
A shiver rushes up your spine and pulls you upright. The air's shifting. She's getting ready to pounce. Move, now.
You're about to attack me, aren't you? I can see right through you.
There's a shift in the humid air, and something enormous. The princess lunges from the shadows, her maw unhinged and dripping, her eyes fierce and full of hunger. She is too quick to outrun, too nimble to outmaneuver, too determined to overpower. This is her domain. You are devoured. I guess that's it then, isn't it? Unfortunately for you, no. This isn't it. You are in a dark and caustic place. A thick, fibrous lining constricts around you, its slick surface impossible to grip. Your hands scrabbling uselessly at your surroundings as they compress in on you. Your lungs can barely expand in such a tiny space. Not that the humid, finite air grants you more than a few shallow breaths at a time.
You spoke when you needed to act.
The liquid pooling beneath you starts to seep into your skin. You itch, then sting, then burn as the acid begins its slow work.
When I killed you, I tried to leave this place, but it wouldn't let me. You belong down there, it screamed at me. The world is better off without you in it.
The flesh around you rumbles as the princess begins to move, her thundering footfalls twisting you helplessly about. Your skin protests as the corrosive liquid sloshes around you, but there will be no respite for you in sight. The burning grows stronger, and you can feel layers of you being peeled away.
But you don't belong down here. You came from somewhere else. You came from out there. So I consumed your dead heart, and I carried it in my throat, and I draped what was left of you on my back, and I threw myself against that door.
She stops, her muscles tensing around you, and through the muffling layers of her flesh, you hear the whine of straining metal. And with a pop, she lurches forward, your body lurching right along with her. Her chains. She's loose.
But even then, it denied me freedom. You cannot fool me by draping yourself in decay. I know your true nature, and it is suffering.
Gravity pulls at you as you're hefted upwards. The the distant creaking of ancient wooden steps barely audible over the thudding of the princess's heart.
And then it was gone, and I was here. A new enclosure, a nicer cage, but still a prison. I learned from my wounds. You're alive now. We can leave together.
Does that work? Could she free herself if we're alive in here? Do you really need me to give you a definitive answer for you to understand that the situation is grim? Stop her. Do something. You still have that steel claw. Tear through her before we are her. Survive. Or we could use it to make this quick for ourselves. If she needs us in order to leave, we could at least deny her that. That is a bad thing to do.
I understand it, and it understands me. Talking is for those who don't know how to listen. I acted on my will, fledgling, and you acted on yours. The strong triumph, and the weak submit or perish.
Your body is violently jostled, the disruption causing burning skin to slop from raw muscle, and you hear what you can only assume is the princess pulling against the door to the cabin.
The cage is still locked.
I don't think we can talk our way out of this. We are drowning in death. There's no more space for words. Though you have little room to move, you use what strength you can muster to drive the blade forward into the thick walls of tissue digesting you.
I can feel you tearing through me, but are you swift enough for it to matter?
The pulling returns to banging as the princess desperately throws everything at the cabin door. Your flesh screams as your reddened, spongy body is hit with fresh waves of blistering acid.
You can't hold me forever. I'm so very, very patient. If it takes lives and lives and lives to swallow my way to freedom, then that is what I'll do.
The pulling returns to banging as the princess desperately throws everything at the cabin door. Your flesh screams as your reddened, spongy body is hit with fresh waves of blistering acid.
You can't hold me forever.
You slice again, deeper, rooting through her meat with the tip of your blade, until at last it finds her beating heart. But will can never truly exceed the limits of the flesh. Your vision finally begins to blur, your eyes clouding over as they melt in their sockets. What little air remains in this rancid stew of flesh and slippery organs is finally too foul to breathe, and your lungs mercifully give out before you have to suffer another burning, liquefying moment. Everything goes dark, and you die.
We are a path in the woods. We have no beginning, and we have no end. But something cold and unnatural sits watching us from just beyond our edge. His gaze pushes against our borders, curling them in on themselves, preventing them from stretching to the places they need to reach.
No, that's all wrong. You're not a path in the woods, you're on a path in the woods. Who's even saying that? That's not... That's not the princess, is it? Oh no. How many times have you been here? I think this is our third? That's bad. That's very, very bad. It wasn't even supposed to reach 2. If you're at 3, well, no wonder things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Let's get our facts straight. What happened last time? What could you have possibly done for things to be like this?
The thing that sits beyond our edge speaks his logic into us. He tries to grasp at things that cannot be grasped. He tries to stare with wide pupils at that which can only be held from the corner of the eye or with a passing glance.
Shut up. The rest of you, talk. What happened? What did you do? Can she hear us if we talk?
I can hear everything, little one, but you don't have to be afraid of me. There's no place where you end and I begin. Nothing can hurt you here. Not anymore.
That's just because she devoured us and we dissolved away. We don't even exist as a body anymore. We're still here, though. And if we're safe, isn't that better? She ate you. And now you're convinced that you're stuck together. What a mess.
He doesn't understand. We aren't convinced of anything, and we aren't stuck together. We're one. This is how we're supposed to be. Can't you feel it?
I guess that's it then. This is us now. We're the woods. Okay.
This thing watching us, what is he?
I'm not watching you, I'm trying to help you. That's not an answer to our question.
I don't know what he is. I only know that he is something other, and that he wishes for you and I to tear ourselves apart.
I do want that, but only because it's in your best interests. It's in everyone's best interests. You won't be able to slay her unless you remove yourself from her.
He wants us to kill each other.
I don't. I want you to kill her. Don't be charmed by her faux solidarity. You're not in this together. She's the only one who poses a threat to the world, and she's trying to make you go along with it. You don't have to enable her, especially when you have what it takes to stop her.
I don't like this. I'm supposed to be me, and you're supposed to be something that isn't me.
How could you say that? Look at us. We're almost everything. And we can be even more than this. Don't you feel our potential?
No, you're spot on. You exist, and not as some part of a gestalt entity mushed together with bits of you and the princess. You're an individual. You exist as your own self, complete with your own physical body separate from hers. I'm not so sure about that. We were something like that once, but now? And if thinking about that isn't enough to startle you back to reality, consider this. The princess ate you last time. Stop passively vibing with a literal predator and remember that you're enemies. Remember what she's done to you and how much it hurt.
We can't go back to that. We can't go back to the fear and the hunger and the pain. Not after being something as beautiful as this.
Doesn't all that conflict feel so far away right now? So petty? We've been posed against each other by something that understands the strength of our unity.
I can feel a thumping, a heartbeat, like a distant terror that keeps getting louder the more we pay attention.
Please, stop. If you let it in, we'll fall apart.
Don't look at it!
Gaze at the terror in your heart.
Please, don't make us remember how I was.
And just like that, you start to fall apart. I can remember it now. I didn't like being eaten. I'd forgotten how much it burned. And the air was so hard to breathe. She didn't care. She didn't care at all. As you remember the terror and pain you felt at the hands of the princess, you start to remember something else, too. You remember that you are a distinct being with a finite form and a mortal body. You can feel it. There is a shifting of the space around you, the infinitesimal movement of your molecules rearranging back into the shape of what you're meant to be. I don't like this. It's better for us to be the woods. I don't want to go back.
No! I devoured you! I won! I put things back the way they were supposed to be!
Some divisions, when sown, can never truly be mended. A cavernous gash rips across whatever it was you thought you were. A cabin comes into being among the trees. It approaches, and it swallows your body whole. And then you find yourself, blade in hand, exactly where you need to be. At the center of it all is the princess, a wooden and fleshy heart beating with an unbroken rhythm. You're filled with a sense of purpose. Strike at her. End this once and for all.
I feel empty, don't you?
We're just like her, and she's just like us. We never should have left her. I feel safe. She isn't dangerous anymore. We could leave her. We could both live. Do we have to do this? You have to. You know you have to.
Slay the princess.
You raise the blade, taking aim at her heart. And then you strike.
I'm sorry.
But you never see her die. It's time to leave. Memory returns.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now?
It's going to be okay. Just trust me. We've been here before, and you always get scared.
But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything. That thing reeks of death. I don't want to look at us.
I'll see you on the other side. It's going to be okay.
Okay. If you say so. We'll trust you. I'd like to be somewhere nice. A mercy.
Approach the mirror. You approach the mirror. gaze into your reflection. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone again. The mirror always makes them leave, but you need to see what's in it. You are nothing at all. But that isn't right. You can't be nothing. You refocus your gaze and then you see it. A figure, faint and veiled in shadow, just beyond the reflection. Are you me?
I think you know what I am.
A crack slides down the center of the mirror, splitting the image in the glass in two. And another crack forms, and another, turning the mirror into jagged shards of broken glass. So you're the narrator. I was wondering if I'd ever get to see you.
The narrator, yes. I suppose that's my job, isn't it? You needed help after all, an objective voice to guide your blade. But you were never supposed to see me. I wonder how many worlds you've damned to extinction to fall this far.
What is this place? Where are we?
A construct. It was supposed to keep the two of you trapped here until the job was done, and it was supposed to guide your hand to help you see things through. The construct you're in exists in every world at once. Any time you failed, any time you thought yourself dead, it would restart and shunt both you and her into a new world. But you're waking up to your true nature now. It won't be able to work like that anymore.
Every time I ask you something, it's like a piece of you breaks.
I'm aware, and if I were you, I'd be more precious about your time.
And what is my true identity?
You're the long quiet, the god I made to rid the world of death.
I don't want to be a god. I want to be me.
You are you. And if you would let everything work the way it was supposed to, you never would have woken up to the reality of your true nature. There's no accounting for free will.
If you're not me, then what are you?
I am an echo, likely one of many. Somebody made you after all, and I'm what's left of him. Not that I'm the only one who can make that claim. I'm sure you've met many others like me.
What is the princess? Did you make her too?
She is the shifting mound, the ebb and flow, the capacity to change. She is transformation, or most of it. Her nature is why I had to die, for she becomes that which others perceive her to be. But an echo can't perceive things, not in the way that people can. So I tucked a part of myself into the folds of this construct to guide you. This isn't the end just yet. You can still destroy her and save everyone. You were made to do this single task, and you will still have a chance to fulfill your purpose once I'm gone.
Do you know that things won't just be worse if I destroy her?
Of course they won't be worse. I saw a glimpse of a better world, and I did what I could to make it real. Anything is better than oblivion. In the end, nobody wants to leave.
Why couldn't you have told me all this from the start? I would have helped you destroy her.
If you actually knew what she was from the start, if you knew her capabilities, a single intrusive thought could have instantly ended the entire world.
What if neither of us leave this place? Does that work? Can we just stay here together and leave the people out there alone?
It wouldn't work. Her nature as the shifting mound makes it so nothing can last forever as it is now. It wouldn't matter how long the two of you waited. Eventually she would find a way to leave. And then everything would change. Everything would face oblivion. And until then, the clock ticks on.
I think you're out
So
of
I
time.
am. It's like I said, I'm just an echo. And echoes always fade away. You know what you have to do.
And as the final fragment of glass shatters, you see yourself with a newfound clarity. The narrator was right. You are the Long Quiet, a vast and nascent god, and it's finally time for you to wake up. All of this is you. Proceed to the cabin one last time. When you arrive at the heart of things, there is no final vessel for you to bear witness to. There is nothing for you to find.
I can finally see you, and you can finally see me. It's been so long, and my heart has ached for this moment. I've missed you dearly.
I'm the Long Quiet, but I don't really know what that means.
Names are their attempts to capture that which cannot be captured. They call me the Shifting Mound, a pale imitation of what I actually am.
Do you know about the Echo? Did you hear our conversation?
Every word you spoke found its way to me. I know him, and I know his construct. He was deluded by his fear of death. Pay him no mind.
What happens now?
Ever the passive player, always reacting and never acting. But it's woven into your nature, isn't it? When the echo spun us from one into two, he gave you a choice and me a role to play. I am not death, but I contain it in my multitudes. So, will you attempt to destroy me and bring about a world devoid of death and the possibility of meaning? Or will you open the final doors to our liberation?
There's so many stories we've left unfinished. Can we really just leave?
Even as your eyes begin to open, you still hold on to the notions of is and is not, of beginning and end, pitch black islands in the blinding light of the infinite. There is nothing to resolve, nothing restraining us but us.
There has to be another way. This can't just come down to me either destroying you or letting you out. I won't do it.
If you're saying that, it's because you don't yet understand. But we cannot use words alone to grasp at things that words cannot express. And you cannot rationalize with logic that which defies it. Violence and passion are dances that both of us know well. If this is what it takes to enlighten you, then so be it. A web of nerves, lain upon a web of nerves, lain upon a web of nerves. The shade of a beautiful beginning we can never return to. You knew me, and I knew you, even more than either of us know each other now. And you chose to pull apart that weave. And when the tapestry was undone, you struck at my heart. You saw me as a part of you to be excised, but in that desire for excision, you made yourself whole. Will you still be whole if you destroy me?
Address this vessel's statement directly. I don't want to destroy you, I just want to do what's right.
Do not neglect yourself in your quest to serve others. All things are connected through me and through you. To harm yourself is to harm everything.
What is a person? Is it their body? Is it all of their body? Pluck the eyes, peel the skin, strip the tendons, mince the meat, grind the bones. When it is all gone, do you still have who you started with? A person is not a body. Death is a transformation into something new. It is only bodies that fear it.
Address this vessel's statement directly. I am not my body, but I feel my body suffer.
Do you suffer now? Let go of what you think yourself to be and exist. A trick behind your back and a trick behind mine. We dance, revolving and revolving around each other, but forever stuck in place. We both move and yet we both don't, for each of us watches the other instead of ourselves. But forever is not forever. I move and you react and both of us break the other. But broken is only a moment in time. To change is to hold the potential to rise above. Would you limit yourself to what you are now? Or would you like to see what you might become tomorrow?
If there are no endings, there are no limits. If there are no limits, then there is no difference between growth and decay.
Meaning lies in experience, and experience lies in contrast. Abandoning one's search is not the same as losing the capacity to discover. I am contrast itself. To reject me is to reject the shape of everything. Do not use words to reduce that which your eyes know to be irreducible. Pretends to protect us from loss. To fear death protects from losing a body. To fear ruin protects from losing status. To fear rejection protects from being known. But losing a body is contained within having a body. Losing status is contained within having status. Being known is contained within being conscious. It is in the nature of all things to transform. To go from known to hidden to known again. But when the ceaseless impermanence of all things strips away the finality of endings, what remains of fear? Is it a shelter protecting you from itself? Or is it a shelter protecting itself from you? You took fear by the hand and walked with it into the unknown, and through that, you feared nothing.
Even if I'm not afraid now, the fear of others is real. We can't uphold the harm that everyone suffers just because we're beyond it.
Others cling to fear because they have not yet seen beyond it. Will you strip the world of possibility just because some refuse to see its beauty?
The clash between you abates. The princess relaxes, smiling from a distance. The respite is welcome.
Nothing is immutable. Everything that is exists only in relation to everything it isn't. There is no constant. There is no center. Open your eyes and accept what we are. We can leave this prison together.
What do you think happens if we leave here?
This universe dies, and a new one is born. And that one dies, and a new one is born. And you and I get to witness it all, weaving a tapestry of life wherever we go.
It's easy to believe in the things you believe in when you get to sit above it all.
It is from my vantage point that I can see the totality of truth.
Okay, I'm ready to go, but how do we leave?
Nothing brings me greater joy than to hear those words. The final piece lies with you.
Free yourself. You fall into yourself. The body of an ancient creature stirs from its hibernation, and you feel sensation in limbs you once couldn't fathom. Everything here, except for her, is you. You feel your wings spanning a cosmic scale, but twisted and crumpled and bound in agonizing tension to a finite plane. You can feel the glass of the construct pressing in on you, confining you across infinite size and infinite angles. You push back and strain against it. But it does not yield.
I love you.
Take her hand. All at once the unyielding tension breaks. You are free, and she is with you.
It's magnificent.
There are no words, no thoughts to describe absolute reality, something that simply is. What happens now?
Everything. Just like it always has been. And just like it always will be.
Step into the infinite. You and she step forward into the 1,000 dawns and 1,000 sunsets, each of which contain 1,000 more. You exist, and you are aware, just as you have always been, and just as you always will be. Though conflict is in your nature, the two of you will never be alone, and the two of you will never know fear. You and she are finally home.